If you have ever woken up in the middle of the night and could not remember why you walked into a room the next morning, if you have ever felt that strange, foggy feeling where a word you have known your whole life just will not come, if you have ever thought to yourself, I am just getting older, this is normal, I need you to stop right there. Because what I am about to share with you today might change how you think about something you are probably doing tonight, something you did last night, something so ordinary, so completely harmless looking that almost nobody questions it. I am Dr. Ronald, and I want to have an honest conversation with you today. Not a lecture, just a real talk, the kind I would have with a patient sitting right across from me. And before we go any further, if you want to protect your brain, stay mentally sharp, and keep your independence as long as possible, do me a small favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and leave a comment below that says yes, just that one word, yes. It tells me you are here, you are paying attention, and you are serious about your health. And honestly, it helps me reach more people who need to hear this. Now, let me ask you something personal. What do you do in the last 30 to 60 minutes before you fall asleep? Do you read a little? Watch something on television? Or do you reach for your phone? Maybe you check your messages, scroll through the news, look at a few photos your grandchildren sent. Maybe you are on social media without even fully realizing how long you have been there. It feels relaxing. It feels like you are just winding down. But here is where things start to get complicated. What feels like winding down might actually be doing something very different inside your brain. Something quiet. Something you cannot feel in the moment. And by the time most people notice the effects, the damage has been building for months, sometimes years. Let me explain what I mean. Your brain, this incredible 3-pound organ you carry everywhere, runs on a very precise internal clock. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm. But think of it less like a clock and more like a conductor in an orchestra. Every cell in your body follows this conductor. Your heart, your hormones, your immune system, your digestion, they all take their cue from this internal timing system. And the most powerful signal that sets this clock every single day is light. Specifically, it is a contrast between light and darkness. When the sun sets and the world gets dark, your brain receives a message. It says, the day is over, it is time. And deep inside your brain, in a tiny structure called the pineal gland, something remarkable happens. A hormone called melatonin begins to flow. Slowly at first, then more steadily. And as melatonin rises, your body temperature drops slightly, your heart rate slows, your muscles soften, and you begin to feel that natural pull towards sleep, that gentle heaviness, that quiet drift. This process has been happening inside human beings for hundreds of thousands of years. But something changed in recent decades, something we are still learning to understand. Screens. The light that comes from a phone screen, a tablet, a television set close to your face. It is not just any kind of light. It sits in a specific part of the spectrum called blue light. And blue light, more than any other wavelength, directly suppresses melatonin. It sends a signal to your brain that says, wait, it is still daytime, do not sleep yet. Now here's what I really want you to understand, because this is the part most people miss entirely. It is not just about falling asleep. The real issue is what happens to your brain during deep sleep, when you do not get enough of it. Think about this. During the deepest stages of sleep, your brain does something extraordinary. It runs a kind of internal cleaning cycle. There is actually a system in the brain called the glymphatic system. Think of it like a biological washing machine that only turns on when you are in deep, restful sleep. And what does it clean? It flushes out a toxic protein called beta amyloid. That same protein that, when it accumulates over time, is found in significantly higher levels in people with Alzheimer's disease. Let that sit for a moment. When your sleep is fragmented, shortened, or shifted by bright screens before bed, your brain does not complete its cleaning cycle. Night after night, those proteins are not fully flushed. They begin to build up, slowly, silently, without a single symptom that you would notice on an ordinary Tuesday morning. And this is not a theory. This is something researchers at the National Institutes of Health and other major institutions have been studying very seriously. The connection between sleep disruption and long-term cognitive decline is not speculative. It is one of the most robust findings in modern neuroscience. Now I want to tell you about a woman named Margaret. Margaret is 71 years old. Sharp as a tack, her family always said. She raised 4 children, ran a household, worked part-time well into her 60s, and never had any trouble with her memory. When her husband passed away 3 years ago, evenings became quiet. Too quiet. So she started keeping her phone closer. She would scroll through family photos before bed, watch short videos, read articles. It felt comforting. It felt like company. About a year later, her daughter noticed something. Margaret was forgetting appointments. Not big things at first, small things. She would walk to the kitchen and stand there for a moment, unsure of why she came. She would repeat a question she had asked 20 minutes earlier. She started feeling mentally foggy by afternoon, tired even after sleeping 8 hours. She told her doctor she felt like her brain was slower, like everything was taking more effort. What nobody had asked Margaret yet was a very simple question. What are you doing before you fall asleep? I am not telling you Margaret has Alzheimer's disease. I am not saying her phone caused her memory to decline. What I am telling you is that when her doctor looked at her sleep quality, not just the hours, but the actual architecture of her sleep, what they found was striking. She was spending almost no time in deep, restorative sleep. She was cycling through light sleep stages all night. Her brain was never fully switching off, never fully cleaning. And when she finally, reluctantly put the phone in another room an hour before bed, within 8 weeks, her daughter said she seemed more like herself again. Sleep is not passive. That is what I really want you to hear today. Most people, especially people who have lived long, full lives, think of sleep as just the absence of being awake. You close your eyes, your body rests, morning comes. But sleep is one of the most biologically active periods in your entire day. Your brain is doing critical maintenance work. Your body is repairing cells, consolidating memories, regulating hormones, and processing emotions. And here is something that often surprises people. Memory consolidation, the process by which your brain takes the events of the day and moves them into long-term storage, happens almost entirely during sleep. Specifically during a stage called REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. This is the stage where dreams happen. And REM sleep tends to occur more in the later hours of the night, the hours closest to morning. So what happens when blue light delays your sleep by even 45 minutes to an hour? You may still sleep 8 hours by the clock, but if you fell asleep later than your body intended, you cut into that precious late-night REM window. You shortchange the very stage that protects and strengthens your memory. It is a little like arriving late to a concert. The hall was full for 8 hours, but you missed the most important part. There is another man I want to tell you about. His name is Gerald, 68 years old, retired engineer, proud of his mental sharpness his whole life. He starts every evening the same way. Television in bed. News programs mostly. He falls asleep with the TV still on. He has done this for years. His wife gave up trying to change it. Gerald has been waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, unable to fall back asleep. He assumes it is just age. He has heard that older adults sleep lighter. He has accepted it as his new normal. But Gerald has also been noticing, slowly, that he is struggling more with words. He reaches for them and they feel just out of grasp. He gets irritable more easily than he used to. He sometimes feels like he is watching himself from a slight distance, not fully present. He does not connect any of this to his evenings with the television. The truth is, even the low-level light from a television at the end of the bed is enough to affect melatonin production. Even if your eyes are closed, even if you are not really watching anymore, the light still penetrates through your eyelids and continues sending signals to the part of your brain that controls your sleep cycle. Gerald's brain, night after night, is receiving mixed signals. The cleaning cycle is running poorly. The memory consolidation is being interrupted. And Gerald, like millions of people his age, has no idea this is happening. What makes this so difficult to address is that the effects of poor sleep on the brain are not immediate. You do not wake up the morning after one bad night and notice your memory has slipped. It is gradual. It is cumulative. It sneaks up on you over months and years, disguised as just getting older. And by the time most people start connecting the dots, they have been in this pattern for a long time. But here is what I also want you to hear clearly, and I mean this with complete sincerity. It is not too late. The brain has a remarkable quality called neuroplasticity. Even in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, the brain retains an ability to repair, reorganize, and strengthen itself. Given the right conditions, given proper sleep, given the chance to complete those nightly cleaning cycles. Research has shown that improving sleep quality can lead to measurable improvements in memory, mental clarity, mood, and even physical energy within a matter of weeks. Not months, weeks. So let me share with you some very practical things that can genuinely help. And I want you to think of these not as rules, but as gentle signals you are sending your body. Signals that say, the day is ending, it is safe to rest now. First, try to give yourself at least 60 minutes without a screen before you sleep. I know this is harder than it sounds. The phone feels like a companion, especially if you live alone or if evenings feel long. But even 30 minutes makes a difference. Try it for 1 week and notice how you feel in the morning. If you need something to do in that hour, consider something quiet and screen-free. A physical book, soft music, light stretching, even just sitting in a dimly lit room with a warm cup of something calming. You are not being unproductive. You are preparing your brain for the most important biological work it will do all day. Second, think about the light in your home after dark. Bright overhead lights in the evening, especially those with a bluish tone, can delay your melatonin just as much as a screen can. Switching to warmer, dimmer lighting in your home after sunset can meaningfully support your body's natural transition towards sleep. It is a small change with a surprisingly large effect. Third, if you absolutely cannot avoid screen time in the evening, look into night mode or warm color settings on your device. They are not perfect. They do not eliminate the problem entirely, but they reduce the blue light intensity and can soften the impact on your melatonin. Fourth, try to keep your bedroom cool and dark. Your body needs to drop its temperature slightly to enter deep sleep. A room that is too warm, or one with light creeping in from outside, can keep you cycling in lighter sleep stages all night. Even a small change in your sleep environment can shift the quality of your rest significantly. And fifth, be consistent. Your brain's internal clock thrives on consistency. Going to sleep and waking up at roughly the same time every day, even on weekends, even when you do not feel tired, helps anchor your circadian rhythm and makes the whole system work more reliably. Think about this. Every good night of sleep is an investment in tomorrow's memory. Every night of broken, light-disrupted sleep is a small withdrawal from a cognitive account you have been building your whole life. I want to tell you about one more person. Her name is Dorothy, 74 years old. She used to fall asleep with her tablet every single night. She said she needed it because her mind would not quiet down without something to focus on. Her daughter shared this exact conversation with her, this very topic. Dorothy was skeptical, but she tried it anyway. She put the tablet on the charger in the hallway. She bought a simple bedside lamp with a warm amber bulb. She started reading a paperback novel for the first time in years. She told her daughter 2 months later that she felt, in her own words, more awake during the day than she had in years. That mornings felt less like wading through mud, that she had started remembering her dreams again, which she said she had not done in a very long time. Dreams, by the way, are not meaningless. They are often a sign that your brain is reaching REM sleep and doing the deep memory work it needs to do. If you rarely remember dreaming, it can sometimes mean you are not reaching that stage consistently enough. Your brain is working hard for you. Every single day, every single night. The least we can do is give it the environment it needs to do that work properly. One more thing I want you to keep in mind. The research on sleep and brain health is not just about Alzheimer's disease and dementia, as serious as those conditions are. Poor sleep is also connected to increased risk of depression, anxiety, cardiovascular disease, weakened immunity, and even balance problems that increase fall risk. Sleep is not a luxury. It is foundational. It is the base on which everything else sits. If you are doing everything right, eating well, walking regularly, staying social, managing your blood pressure, but sleeping poorly night after night, you are leaving one of the biggest doors open. Close that door. Tonight, before you reach for that phone or remote, I want you to pause for just a moment. Ask yourself, what am I trading my brain health for? Usually, it is not even something that important. A scroll through things you have already seen. A news segment that will still be there tomorrow morning. Your brain has carried you through an entire lifetime, through work and grief and joy and love and everything in between. It deserves this one simple act of care. If this conversation meant something to you today, please share this video with someone you love. an older parent, a sibling, a friend who might not realize what their evening habits are quietly doing to their mind. Sometimes the most important things in health are the quietest ones, the ones hiding in plain sight, in small habits, in ordinary evenings. Leave your yes in the comments if you are committing to giving your brain the rest it deserves. And if you want to know what else might be silently affecting your memory and mental sharpness, stay close. Because in the next video, I am going to share something about a common daily food that millions of older adults eat without a second thought, and what it may actually be doing inside the brain over time. That one surprised even me. The information shared in this video is based on trusted medical knowledge and current research. Sources include the World Health Organization, National Institutes of Health, Mayo Clinic, Harvard Medical School, Cleveland Clinic.